Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk More on Monday. As always, I'm your podcast host, Chloe, and today we are continuing our issue 11 contributor chat series where we sit down with the women who made issue 11, Women Who Possible, and people who were featured in the magazine as well. So we're really excited to have published another awesome issue, and I love sitting down with the contributors and figuring out the stories behind the stories, how it all came together, what was behind the visual story that accompanies every article. So this is our most requested content. We're really happy to be able to do it and sit down with our contributors. And I am joined today by Jordan and Emily. So we're going to talk about their awesome piece in issue 11. But thank you both for being here with me today.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you. I will have you both introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, what you do, how you came to be on the show today. I want to hear it all, and then I'll get into some questions that I have for you about your awesome piece. So go right ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Emily Mellentine. I am a writer and host of Writings from Her Corner, a inclusive women's writing group, and I'm also just a local creative working in communications, marketing, and events in mainly nonprofits in Indianapolis. And I had the honor of writing an article about Miss Jordan called Artist Empowerment, the Transformative Lens of Animal in a Dress. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Yes, Emily invited me to be a part of this and kind of share some of my wisdom and story. And so my name's Jordan Connor Christie, and I'm a photographer and artist working in the Indianapolis area. And I own and operate a boudoir business specifically as a photography studio. And so I use this idea of women's empowerment to guide my clients and help empower and allow and create space for people to feel fully embodied.
Yeah, super exciting. I love the concept of boudoir. I love seeing pictures. I think it's just so like sensual and feminine and exciting. So I'm really excited to get to talk to you both about this piece. But to start out, Emily, you mentioned that you were already a writer. How did you come to write for more?
Yeah, so I'm going to be very real and transparent. I have written down my answers because I'm a
Right.
I'm not much of a speaker. I get nervous. So
Gotta have that script.
I'm going to be reading. So I had always followed More Magazine and Ariana on my Writings from Her Corner Instagram account. But one day I was just on my personal and came across a post from Ariana, and I realized I didn't follow her on that account. So I just gave her a follow, and then she slid into my DMs to say that she liked the content that I was making and was looking for more voices for more. I was making content, she makes content. We're just like, commenting on each other's stuff.
Yeah.
And I was, well, yeah, of course. And when she shared the focus of the issue, the first person I thought of was Jordan. She started coming to my writing group, and a lot of the writing that she shares ties back into the mission of Animal in a Dress, exploring raw authenticity and challenging the way that we think about like our inner and outer selves. And I think her mindset and the way that she encourages her clients to fully embrace every part of themselves in this vulnerable way is what really sets her apart as a woman who's using her business to create an impact that goes beyond just being a business.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I love that Ariana just has people in her sphere, and when she notices that they're doing good work, she pulls them in to be a part of more. So it's really exciting to just watch, our creative collective consciousness grow.
I love that.
So you were inspired by the topic of women who. Did you know Jordan previously from work outside of this?
A friend had just introduced us, like kind of in passing, and then you started coming to Writings from Her Corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's just
Yeah.
kind of how I gotten to know you. And
Same with Instagram comments and just
Oh, yeah.
support like from afar, and then within the group opening up as you do with your writings, that can be a very vulnerable space, the same as being in a photo shoot. There's
Right.
levels to it. So
Mhm.
I think you've kind of empowered me in ways to use my voice more, not just through my art, but through connection with women and being able to hold space with other women and kind of empower each other like we all are.
Yeah, along with being a very talented photographer, she's a very, very talented writer, and I really push people in my group to get vulnerable, get deep,
Yeah.
and not talk down on their writing and find confidence in sharing. And I've really watched Jordan gain a lot of confidence in her writing and bloom. And she always just gets so deep in everything, as well as it's beautifully strung together. So I think we've just really bonded over just being creative, vulnerable, emotional, expressive people.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And I love that you both recognize that like what you do brings out a sense of vulnerability naturally, and you can both kind of tap into, trusting that the other person is going to meet you where you are. That is just peak womanhood.
It's walking the talk. It's like
Yeah.
guiding the way for people. You can't get them to do what you want them to do unless you're willing to do it yourself. And you always have to look to other women to know how to be a good woman. And you take those lessons and encouragement along the way. And yeah, we push each other a little bit.
Yeah. So in the piece, you talk about, Jordan going to art school and the inception of this animal in a dress idea. But I was curious, when did you first fall in love with photography?
I've always had a love affair with time. And so when you think about the theory of photography, you're essentially freezing time or capturing a moment. That's not necessarily language I like to use. Like, no one really wants to feel captured that I know of. But there's this notion of distilling a moment or a feeling. And as women, feelings can be hard to grasp onto sometimes. So to see something visualized, whether that is a positive or negative, it could be relatable. And so I've always had that like exploration of how do I tell my story. And I mean, I remember taking my first photograph, and it's not a photograph to write home about, because like I saw a moment and it went by and I tried to get it and I didn't get it. But that made me want to try to keep my eyes open and look for the next moment. And
Right.
with school, you learn that you can kind of plan for the moment and
Yeah.
kind of create these worlds, if you will, but it does bring out that creative expression and sensual desire, like you were talking about, that it's a free flow, it just sort of happens. And as a business, it snowballs and it grows.
Right.
As a creative, it ebbs and flows, and we have to experiment and get new people involved and just make it a conversation. And so that's kind of where the writing comes in for me, because I have a blog, and so that's where I've been slowly publishing some of the pieces that have been inspired by her prompts from Writings from Her Corner.
Oh,
And
awesome.
this idea that we all have a story. Animal in a Dress could be somewhat anonymous, but it is my name and brand, and that being the best compliment I've ever been given in art school, that made me feel like I should take that idea and kind of run with it.
Right. So what has that journey been like to create a business, to do boudoir photography, to have women come to you and get vulnerable and feel empowered? What's that been like?
It's definitely a mixed bag. On some days, it's such a high. Like, I love what I get to do and how we feel coming off of a photo shoot. But in the beginning stages of building a business, it can be kind of daunting and difficult, and you have a lot of lessons you need to learn, and just these fundamental building blocks of how to be in community with others and relatable, and just certain lessons that you have to learn, boundaries that you actually get to put up in business. And I say that like, get to, like, this is my business, is my life. It is selfishly for me, but as a service, I want to help people. I want to give them the space. I want to offer a little bit of healing to maybe situations that didn't feel that way when we were younger, or before we found people supporting us, So even the word journey, like I said, capture, I'm very specific about my language because it's such a trajectory or this transition every day, these cycles and patterns. And so it's not just I'm walking along on a journey. It's this full-blown transition, even a little bit of alchemical creation in there once you think about the why you would want to undress for the lens, why you would want to reclaim a story, why you would want to rewrite a story with a powerful image.
Yeah. You mentioned that, some days are easy, some days are hard. Is it mostly that you find, obviously there can be mixed feelings, especially if somebody's unpacking something in a photo shoot, but is it generally it's a positive space and sometimes those hardships are just from, owning a business and knowing how to navigate that?
Yes, it's that one. It's the admin.
The admin stuff that'll get you.
I have to be a content creator. I have to be an accountant. I have to write emails. Or I get to do all these things, right? Because I created the business. But if I was only doing the photo shoots and editing and printing huge in gold, that would be the dream. But there's this balance of okay, yeah, you have to learn to outsource even the tasks and just the monotony of the everyday. Some people can pick up an iPhone and say I'm a photographer, but are they doing that every day and projecting what they're trying to say and build? And so every time I do come to one of those, oh my God, it's a really hard day, should I give up? Obviously not, because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's what we get to share and the images we make, and those will be around forever compared to, if I gave up and never made another image, it'd be over, journey's done.
Right. I love that you've both touched on, how meaningful words can be too. You keep saying, I get to do these things. And, the reframing of it, I think is really powerful. The way that you approach things and talk about them can truly make all the difference.
Yeah. So, that's something we really encourage each other to do, especially in the group, whenever we hear people, oh, I don't know if I should speak, or talking down or apologizing even, we just have this rule of it's okay to take up space and allow your voice to do the talking for you. And I appreciate that you recognize that.
Yes, it's huge. Mindset is so much of what we do. Emily, did you have any previous relationship with boudoir? What did it mean to you? Had you ever been photographed before in a way like that?
Yeah, so to me, boudoir is not only reclaiming ownership and autonomy over the body, but I see it as an opportunity to freely express that vulnerable side of yourself that's typically behind closed doors. And experiencing it yourself is one thing, but then being able to look at the magnificent photos that Jordan captures and produces, you see yourself confidently embodying and celebrating that part of you, I think is really powerful. Yeah. I consider myself a pretty sexually open person, but also as a young professional, I'm learning how to balance that. And I don't necessarily feel like that's something that I can publicly express, at least not now in where I'm at with my life. But Jordan and I kind of found a bit of a loophole through that. We were hanging out, was it a week or 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago. And I brought out my bedazzled ghost face mask from Halloween last year.
Yes, girl.
And she was like, we have to do it. So we did a cute little sexy spooky shoot for her to use mainly for promos, and my face is hidden, so there's some anonymity there.
Right.
But however, I'm still able to appreciate my body in the photos, and we had such a fun time shooting it. We were just cracking jokes the whole time.
I love that.
Yeah, and it was very memorable, and it was just such an amazing fun time.
Because it's silly. It's not that deep,
Right.
Put on it for yourself, when you talk about the reclamation and seeing a new sexy side of you, there's always a way to tease that and hide and reveal that.
Yeah, and it's nice to share it, in that way as well, because most people I feel don't typically aren't sharing it that way. It's reserved for you know, one size, whatever. And so it's nice to step out of that box.
Yeah.
Be creative in that aspect. It feels very free.
Or like you're there taking your selfie, you know, maybe you send it, maybe you keep it, but I'm there being like, yes, girl, that's it. I'm doing it again.
I'm like, okay, let's do different positions, different lighting.
Like, how can we make this even hotter?
Yeah.
I love that. I do think that's such an interesting dichotomy, though, that we have to strike as women. Is like, how sexual can I be while still remaining professional? Are people going to think about me differently? Like, it sucks that we're put in those boxes, but we are. And navigating that, I think, can be a real challenge. But I think, Jordan, you're giving women the opportunity to very much do both.
Yes.
And that's very exciting.
Yes, I decided that very early on. You know, I'm not meant to be a politician. That's fine. I'm not meant to be a school teacher. Like, that's fine. But I'm meant to serve women and hold space for this conversation that really needs to be had. And it doesn't matter if it's behind closed doors or not. Like, that's literally the definition of boudoir. It's a woman's lair. It's a woman's space. And so we get to choose where we share that. And, you know, I take it upon myself to throw art shows and have events, but it's because of people like Emily who give me that platform and space to do it.
That's so exciting. Well, thank you both so much for being on this episode of Let's Talk More on Monday. Before we go, if people want to find you outside of this sphere, or if there's anything that you want to share with them, now's your time to do it. How can they find you? What are you excited about?
Yeah, come to my writing group. Come to Writings from Her Corner. It's every single Wednesday at Cafe Ostera. It's all on my Eventbrite and on my Instagram, writingsfromhercorner.co. And my personal Instagram is m.mellentine. I share my own writings on there sometime. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah.
And you?
People can find me at animalinadress.com. I have the Must Takes blog on there where I publish pretty regularly. And you can also find information about model calls and announcements for photo shoots and apply to work in the studio with me there. And yeah, it's Animal in a Dress on Instagram as well. You can always slide into my DMs and start that combo.
And we have our tarot night.
That's an in-person event.
On the 21st. I don't know if this is going to be out before then.
Cute. I love that. So you get together and like read tarot cards?
This is a spooky season Halloween special, but we're collaborating on one of the in-person events. So writing prompts and then tarot readings by me. Which this is a whole other tangent, but image making.
Yeah, and the tickets, you can get a themed mocktail or cocktail, and then I have my regular writing prompts, like tarot themed. I do different like themed prompts every week, and so cool. Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah, we're always hosting new things, so that's what's coming up next.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. If you guys are listening and you're interested, make sure to check this out. We'll have some more information in the show notes below, so go check that out. But thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And make sure to head over to our Patreon where we're going to dig deeper with Jordan and Emily and get more into the nitty gritty, talk about some stuff that empowers them. So join us over there. But we'll see you next week when we dig deeper with some other contributors, and we'll continue the conversation about women who. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye. All right.